Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be out there in the digital world of Facebook or Google or wherever you are. My name is Marc. I'm with Conscious Living Network here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And today I get the pleasure to speak again with Yogi Amandeep Singh. Now, Yogi Singh is an accomplished yogi, and he was inspired by Yogi Bhajan, and he delivers the ancient yogic technology with a modern framework. He's adept in many Himalayan yogic traditions. He's a keynote speaker for technology conferences, influencer of conscious use of technology, and leads projects in using virtual reality to cure mental health issues. He's been appointed as a spiritual leader to advise European Union projects on well-being tourism, and he works with neurologists and neuroscientists on pain management for children receiving oncology treatment. Yogi Amandeep Singh, welcome again to the program. It's a pleasure to see you. I remember the last time we spoke was on our radio program, Conscious Living Radio, and yes. What sticks with me and always has, and I share it many times, is just your simple practice of sit, breathe, and be. So welcome to the program, and yeah, I look forward to speaking to you again this afternoon about your ongoing work here in the Vancouver area. And, you think yogis and yoga and spiritual mysticism, we don't always think about technology, but it's beautiful to see how these worlds are now connecting and really kind of sharing the word and enhancing, the work that you do and your fellow yogis out there. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about tell us about yourself, what you do, and your mission here in life.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that previously also, but in simple, I'm here to, breathe and be. And I think these basic things, most of the time we are concerned about some extraordinary things happening to us and some, colors that we must see, or, we must learn how to fly in the skies, and, show our mystical or, cult powers or whatever. But I think the main aim of life is how to breathe and how to be and how to sit. So this
Yes.
is what I'm here for. And this is what every one of us are here for, how to sit in our beingness and how to breathe. Because when the breath is wrong, life is wrong. When the breath is shallow, life is shallow. And when the breath is deep, life is deep. And once you learn that art of how to breathe, automatically you will learn how to be. So, sitting with who you are, learning how to breathe, or being with your breath automatically opens the gates into beingness. So, this is what all of us are here for. Yeah.
Well, I love how simplistic it really is. Shallow breathing, shallow life, deep breathing, deep life.
Yeah.
And breath is so important. It's the one thing we, can live the shortest amount of time without. And I think it's one thing that we so commonly take for granted is our breath, and more specifically, how we use our breath in terms of how we breathe, short and shallow, or, long and deep. And then how that has an impact on our lives. Can you maybe speak more to that?
Yeah. So, even, I just want to bring up this topic as well, chakras, which is connected, to our conversation today. And later on, I'll speak how, in the coming a few weeks, we will be teaching a whole course on intensive chakras, the coming and the going of the breath is actually chakras, this is something new and something different. Chakra is anything. Chak means to raise something. It's called chak, and ra means light. So chakra means the light which gives you a rise. The light that gives you a rise, and the first light, okay, light as in life force, enters you through your breath. The coming of the breath and the going of the breath, which is a circle. The chakra is the life force in a circle. So chakras is actually your breath, and when you connect with your breath, you automatically connect with your chakras. Now breath, most of us, we do not allow the breath. From the yogic perspective, breath is not just oxygen, breath is prana. prana or the chi, the vital force. And the home of the vital force, the home of the prana is your navel. From the
Mm.
yogic perspective, this breath has to go to the navel center. So, deep inhaling means bringing the breath all the way down to your navel, inhaling to your navel and exhaling from your navel. When this becomes a circle, this is called the first step to chakra. This is the activation of the chakras. So, activation of the chakras, deep breathing, life, being, divine, God, light, universe, all these is just a coming and the going of the breath. So, the deeper the breath, the deeper the life, the shallow the breath, the shallow the life. Yeah.
Mm. Beautiful. Well, and then talk about just being, that so sitting, that's pretty straightforward. And I guess that's, typically with our spine straight, right?
Yes. So, when we talk about being or sitting, we never sit. Even while we are sitting, our spine may be straight,
Mm-hmm.
but something goes on here all the time in
Ah,
the head. So, sitting means sitting without the reference of your thoughts. Sitting means without the reference of your head. When sitting, sit. When walking, walk. When eating, eat. So, sitting here means not necessarily the spine straight, although that is the first step, because the moment the spine is straight, automatically the energies are aligned. When the spine is aligned, the stars are aligned,
mm-hmm.
right? But when we talk about really sitting and being, it means to sit without the reference or the judgments that is going on in the head all the time. We have never experienced sitting, because even when we are sitting, something here is still moving.
Mm-hmm.
So the sitting of this is the real sitting, not the sitting of the body, although this is initiated with the sitting of the body. When the body moves, mind moves. And when the mind moves, world moves. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when this sits, automatically this sits. And when this sits, with time, this sits. When this and this sits, the universe sits. And this is called a posture. This is called asana. This is the yogic asana.
Mm.
When this sits and this sits. Together they synchronize and the universe sits. And that is asana.
Beautiful. So when this is sitting, is that really part of a beingness when you
Of
talk
course,
about being?
when this is moving, it
Mm-hmm.
is called mind. When this stops moving, pure awareness and pure consciousness surfaces itself. That is called being. The being is always there sitting, but the chattering of the mind, the flickering of the mind gives an illusion that you are moving. So when you reduce these, when this mind sits, automatically what surfaces behind is called the being.
Mm.
So being is always there and is always sitting. The illusion of the thoughts, when the
Okay.
illusion of the thoughts are removed, the being is surfaced, and that is beingness, that is consciousness, and some people call this God.
Mm.
That witnessing awareness behind all the activities is the divine that we are searching for. In the words of Rumi, he says, between me and my being, the chattering of the mind is the hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
And when that hindrance is removed, me and the being are one.
Now here's the $1 million question. So, I
Only a
talk
$1 million?
only a million. It might be a billion with inflation. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now, in my coaching and when I'm working with other people in so many different ways, I talk about meditation and sitting in silence and that beingness. And probably the most common thing I hear, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, is like, oh, I can't meditate because there's too much going on up here,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, what would you say to people who are challenged by meditation because they've got too much mental chatter going on to drop into their beingness?
Beautiful.
Are there some practical tactical tools
Yes.
that we
Yes.
can use in our everyday life that make it simple?
See, beingness is from here coming into the body. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
From here. So being is that which is present, and mind is which is always absent. It's either concern about the past or it is concern about the future. So most of the time it is absent from the present. So what is present? The present is the body, and the body is the being. The present is the being. So how to come into the body? Now, if we are to just sit and close our eyes, chances are we will be lost in the past or concerned about the future. Now, this is where yogic postures come to help. Now, if my mind is running wild, if I was to hold my arm like this and sit, after 3 minutes, after 4 minutes, after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, all I know is my arm. Immediately my awareness is anchored into my body.
Mm.
So using postures. Now if the mind goes wild, please don't close your eyes and just sit like the Buddha, because you will be faking it. In the beginning you used to make this the body to help you to become the Buddha. In the beginning we have to use postures, maybe sit like this, and after 30 minutes all you know is this is dissolved. Your problems which are concerned about the past or worries about the future immediately collapses into the now, the moment the body goes into a certain posture. So find a posture, find your posture. Some of us, it is easier to anchor the mind in this posture. Some of us is easier to anchor our mind in this posture. Some of us are easier to find in this posture. And some of us standing on one leg. Now, if your mind goes wild, do this. Stand on one foot for 15 minutes. Your mind will automatically draw back itself into the body. You will only know your body. Your mind, your problems for a few seconds will dissolve, and the body will give you a direct experience of what it means to be, just be. Although in the beginning this comes with pain, there will be pain, my friend, but there will be no suffering, only pain. When you complain about the pain, it becomes a suffering. When mind is involved, it becomes suffering. But if you were to just be with the body, the pain will be there. But for a few moments, my friends, trust me, immediately the collapsing of the two, yes and no, right and wrong, good and bad, hell and heaven, above and below, all will dissolve. The only thing you will know is your arm, and that is the anchoring of awareness. Like that, bring the mind back into the body. Go into different postures. Spend 11 minutes every day in different postures. With
Mm.
time, not only your body will become alive. Most of the time, we never know we have a hand. We never know there's life in the hand. And if you were to hold this for 11 minutes, all you know is you have a hand, you have an arm. And not only you have an arm, it have become alive, and it has beingness inside. There is consciousness throbbing inside. Your body will start to vibrate. Your body will start to vibrate. There will be sensations, there will be pulsations, there will be frequencies. And suddenly, from head to toe, when you hold a certain posture for a certain amount of time, your whole body will start to create sensations. And these sensations is known as the dance of the goddess.
Mm.
This is the first symptom of awakening of Kundalini. which is the form of sensations and pulsations in the body. And after the pulsations, suddenly you will feel alive. You will feel you have an arm. You will feel you have legs. You will feel you have a body, and suddenly you will be in the body, and this will disappear. It is so simple when you know how to just connect with yourself.
Mm.
It is all in the body. It is all in the, not even in the mind,
Mhm.
because even the mind is momentary. When mind wants to store something, it sends it into the body, which becomes the muscle memory. The mind, there is nothing. It is just coming and going of thoughts. All the memory is in the body. The past is in the body. The present is in the body. The future is also in the body. And
Mm.
once we know the body, we know our beingness.
Mm.
So, going into postures, that is what I suggest.
Well, I love the simplicity of it because you can do it, almost anywhere.
Anywhere.
And even 1 minute to 11 minutes, like you're suggesting, is something that can really, quite simply, bring you back to the present moment.
Exactly.
Now, you said something there about the futures in our body, the present, and the past. So I want to talk about the past being in our body because I happen to have a belief that we kind of anchor our traumas and anchor things in our body from the past
Mm.
so that we can kind of live them in our present moment. And I personally believe that that's one of the things that's causing us, so much suffering and pain and dis-ease in the world today. How do you suggest, we go about relieving that, drama, trauma, pain that we have now in our body?
Yes. Beautiful. Again, when there is trauma in your body, there's stress in your body, there's depression in your body, the disease in your body, the illness in the body goes into a certain posture. When a certain trauma hits you, the body goes into a certain posture. The body goes into a certain posture. Study your body. What happens to my posture when a certain trauma hits me, or when the memory of a certain trauma is activated? How my body behaves? What are the postures my body takes? Like these, like these, like these, like these. All these are postures of the body. And if you can change your postures, you can change your personality.
Mm.
I repeat, if you can change your posture, you can change your personality. Most of us, when we are stuck in a certain mind pattern, call it stress, call it trauma, or whatever, your body starts to behave in a certain manner. It gets stuck in a certain mode, in a certain movement. This is called karmic lock.
Mm.
Now, how to change the karmic lock? Study the body, how it behaves when the memory of the certain trauma comes back. Study for 7 days, write down, make notes how my body moves. Then, after 7 days, once you have known the pattern, once you have known the karma of the body, which is the past, the present, and the future. Because if your pattern mix the body always, hand for example like this, chances are after a few years this will be locked and you will not be able to move it. So the past, the present, and the future is in the body. Now once I have found the pattern of my body, now again I repeat, most of the time we are searching for answers for trauma, depression, and stress here. No, it is all,
And out there,
no,
outside
it
of
is here.
ourselves, right?
It is here in the body.
Yeah, but we also look for it outside of ourselves, and the
Exactly.
healing and the completion of ourselves and everything we do is outside of us when
Beautiful.
everything is the answer to everything is inside.
Inside. And then now what you do is, after studying the pattern, start changing the patterns of your body. For example, if the body, each time it remembers a pattern, it starts to maybe sit like this.
Mm-hmm.
Then you know this is the pattern. When the pattern comes, the body goes there. No, you have been awakened. You have become conscious. You are breaking the pattern. Karma means unconscious patterns.
Mm.
Dharma means conscious patterns. That's all. And then you do not allow the body to go into this pattern each time a trauma comes. Change the pattern. Maybe sit like this. Maybe sit like this. So, changing the patterns of the body automatically changes all the patterns in the body.
Mm. And I love that you talk about patterns because they are just patterns, right?
Exactly, that is what karma is.
Mm-hmm. That's what life is. Isn't
That's
life
what
one
life
great
is, a
big
pattern.
pattern? Yeah.
Then you know, when you when your patterns unconsciously creates new patterns, you are stuck in life.
Mm.
When you are in charge, when you have awakened yourself to your body, awakened yourself to your breath, awaken yourself what goes on here, you have become the awakened one. It is simple as that. You don't have to sit under the bodhi tree for 6 months to be awakened. Awakening means you are aware of the patterns that is going on. You are no more mechanical. And once you know that, you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
So unconsciously, when the patterns are unconscious, they give birth to more unconscious patterns. And when these patterns come into your awareness and you have awakened yourself, you have become more conscious, you have become more alive. How to become more alive? Inhale deep, exhale deep. So inhaling and holding the breath. Breath is life. And when you hold the breath, you become alive. The more you breathe, the more the awareness, more alertness, more consciousness takes birth. It is simple. And then just by bringing in more breath, bringing in more prana, you have become the awakened one, at
Mm.
least for 5 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you, we had an event here on Tuesday with some friends who I've met through the work that we do, and they did what they called the Akashic Breath Journey.
Mhm.
And it was a breath work workshop, basically, and a journey. There's some beautiful music, and they had us do some breathing patterns and breathing techniques for probably about 90 minutes or so.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, there was a point within that experience that I just dissolved. Like I
Beautiful.
wasn't in my body. I was just connected to light. And there was even a point where I was just like, I had to kind of bring myself back because it was like I was gone there. I was like in that infinity of life. And I had to
Beautiful.
realize, and I stopped for a second. And it's like, oh God, I'm just breathing. Whew, because I was really out of myself in this beautiful place.
Beautiful.
Like I wasn't afraid or anything, but it was just all of a sudden I could only explain that in that way that it was like being connected to everything in a way that this would feel like what it's like to kind of be dead, really, because I just felt like I was connected to everything on this different plane where my body was, I couldn't even feel it. Um,
Mm.
and it was all through breath, just using breath. It was,
That is beingness.
mm-hmm,
That is beingness. You experienced yourself without the reference of your head.
mm-hmm,
This is the experience of the self for how much ever minutes or time or the moments that you were in that space, my friend. There was no difference between you and the Buddha.
mm. Yeah, it was certainly a beautiful space, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so simple actually. It's all
Well,
about, I always quote this, I always love to share this. Uh, you change your posture, You change your personality, you change your breath, you change your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah. I remember years ago, um, when I was doing a workshop and they talked about the power of breath, and they were talking about how so many of us just breathe short and shallow through the top of our chest and top of our lungs, and this is why we have worry and stress and all of these things happening. And the presenter was talking about, he was just listing a number of things that are affected to breath, and he had mentioned night sweating, and I was a night sweater. My girlfriend at the time would always, because I was sweating at night, and I didn't know what was going on. I just thought that was, my life. And when this was brought up to me, what I actually did is I put signs up everywhere in my vehicle, in the bathroom, on the door, that always said breathe. And it was a reminder for me to do the deep belly breathing and to condition myself in a different way, so that I wasn't unconsciously breathing up here and that I was consciously breathing down below, the deep diaphragmatic breaths.
Beautiful.
And it didn't take long, and the night sweat stopped. Right. My life changed in many different ways, because I became vegetarian and a whole bunch of stuff I started changing. But I couldn't believe how powerful that was with just breath. And,
Beautiful.
it's the first thing that I like to share. And, I've had the pleasure and to speak to so many different great teachers and leaders, and, from healthcare and everything else, that breath is by far the most important. And the better we can breathe, deeper and more fully, the less stress, the less anxiety, all of those things are going to disappear, and we're going to be in that place, in a more of a place of beingness. And I've
Mhm.
experienced that myself. So I really understand and appreciate what you're saying, and encourage anybody watching to, take a look at how you're breathing. and
Exactly.
and it's like, don't take my word for it. Don't take, Yogi Amandeep's word for it. Experience it, do something, change it up, do something different, and put yourself on a 10-day or 30-day test or trial or experiment to see what that is for you. And
Beautiful.
again, I had stickers everywhere that just reminded me to breathe, because we need to get that and retrain ourselves to make our breath unconsciously the proper breathing, versus what we've done with our short breath, right?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll just add a few more things to it.
Please.
The importance of the breath. In the yogic teachings, breath is God.
Mm.
Breath is God. And there's a beautiful sutra, Pavan Guru. Pavan Guru. Guru means the wisdom, you know, and Pavan means the breath. So, breath is the ultimate wisdom, and Guru also means divine. Breath is divine, and Guru also means God, and breath is God. So, breath is the life. The problem is today we get stuck in our head that we do not fall down, from
Mm.
here to here. Now, many a times I share it in my class. There's this beautiful English term which means falling in love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, where do we fall? Into what do we fall? And it is actually the falling of the referencing point, which is here, into your breath, and ultimately into your heart, and ultimately into your navel, which is the ultimate fall. And those who have fallen down from here to here and to here, they know what love is.
Mm.
Falling in love means bringing your reference from here, which is all based on just two: yes and no,
Mm.
right and wrong. This is all this head knows. It does not know there's a third way of expressing the world. It only knows two ways to express what it sees, what it hears, what it tastes, what it perceives. This can only give you the experience of two dimensions. But once you fall in love, falling here, the reference comes into your breath and then brings it to the heart and falls ultimately to the navel. This is the realm of thinking. This is the realm of feeling. Through the breath, you come here and then ultimately into the navel, which is the realm of being.
Mm.
Suddenly, You experience the reality as it is, not based on how you assume or how you think it is. And this opens up a total different realm. A tree is no more a tree then. A mountain is no more a mountain. It is not just the you're referencing its amount. It's a total dimension, a total realm all by itself. A mountain is not just a mountain the way you think it is a mountain. It is a complete life there. And once you know that, your hands get folded and you bow to that, because that is an expression of life. The trees are alive, the animals are alive, and this is where compassion comes in. And then once compassion comes in, you come, no, these animals are alive. I do not want to put them into my stomach. My body is not a cemetery where I keep dead bodies. So this wisdom comes from within when you become alive, not because somebody told you, not because you read somewhere. It has become your living experience because now you are living. And when you are living, you experience all that which is living, and everything around you is actually living. There's nothing dead, everything is vibrating. Even the dead matter which you think is dead, there's vibrations in there. Just that you are stuck here and life and death. But there is a third dimension where life and death, matter and spirit, Shiva and Shakti, yin and yang, becomes two, and they become one. And that unity is experienced when the unity with the body, unity with the breath, and the unity with your mind is experienced. Yeah.
Wow, well said. So you got me thinking about a couple of things. I want to switch gears a little bit because wow, I just I love the simplicity of it, even though because of our complex lives, it doesn't always come across so simple. But now you've talked about Buddha and the Bodhi tree. I see you in your turban and your orange. We have so many different religions and spiritual organizations that represent awakening, and they all believe that they're kind of the way or whatever it might be. Now, what's your background? What does the orange represent? How do all of these, because you're speaking across what I would call religion. To me, religion becomes more of a business than spirituality. But
Yes.
you've been speaking across all of these different belief systems and merging them all into one. So what's your story in terms of where you come from and your belief system in terms of that, if that
Yeah.
makes sense?
I think whatever serves you, embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever doesn't serve you, put it aside. That's the first thing. So on my journey, I was born in India, raised in Amritsar, where the Golden Temple is. There were many beautiful things that helped me to evolve. And I got, started to walk on this ancient Himalayan tradition known as the Udasins. They are this is a lineage which is thousands of years old, starts in the beginning of the time from our perspective when the Big Bang happened, and the first sound, the sound of Onkar, came into existence. The first sound of creation was born, and this sound, the whole signs of nada, signs of sacred vibration, was transmitted down. And with time, a great sage by the name of Guru Nanak came into existence, and he started this beautiful tradition, the tradition of the Sikhs. And in the Sikh tradition, there's this beautiful tradition of the Udasins, which is a Himalayan lineage. And, I walk that path. It is the path of those who have learned to fall in love, those who have learned to fall. In this path, we do not believe in being raised, we believe in falling down. So
Mm.
we fall down. And in this path, the sacred house of the Guru, which is known as the Golden Temple, most of us, we know that. Um, If you ever go to the Golden Temple, you have to actually walk down. It is the only sacred site on the planet where all the sacred sites, most of them are going up. You have to go onto the staircase to go up, but this you have to go down. So this is the path of the heart where we teach you how to fall from here to here. So this is my path. It has helped me, it has served me, and it made me a better person. So I am in reverence and I'm in devotion to this path because it has helped me to see the mountains. It has helped me to touch the trees. It has helped me to bow to the waxing and the waning of the moon. And this means a lot. This means a lot. So that is what I am. And the orange color is the color of the Himalayan sages. It is the color of the sun, the radiance, the guiding color. And in India, all the yogis, most of the traditions, they wear orange color. So it is just the color of radiance, color of light. So when we associate with light, we think about light. And when we think about light, we become light. And when we become light, we really become light. Become very light.
That's how you guys levitate, right?
I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So
Great. Well,
that
I thank you very much for sharing that part of yourself
yeah.
and some of the distinctions as you see them. So I really do appreciate that. And
Thank you.
the other thing I love is that, as it served you just in your human beingness,
Yeah.
you're also bringing this work to the people.
Beautiful.
And it's one of the things I do is to be able to help people such as yourself and community find these connections so that they can have these experiences. One of the things I love with my work with Conscious Living Network is that a lot of the events that we do, we have kind of three criteria. And
Mhm.
one is educational, so we want to give people some educational because the Western and left brain always wants to know stuff, the whys and the hows. um, we like it to be experiential. We like things to have an experience attached to it so that people can experience what they're talking about. And then transformational, to be able to take that experience
Mhm.
and apply it to our lives so that we can create transformation and growth so that we can have a better everyday life for ourselves and those around us. Now you've got a great event coming up. It looks like Valentine's Day. Man, there's a lot of great stuff going on Valentine's Day here in Vancouver, by the way, just so you know.
Yes. Yes.
And you've got a great event coming up, which is the Dive into Your Heart using the timeless teachings of the mystics, featuring, of course, you, Yogi Amandeep Singh. And it's 7 to 9 on Friday, February 14th. And where are you having that? Let me just double check. You've got that in North
That's
Vancouver.
rasa. That's rasa flow yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe can you tell us what you're going to be doing there?
Yes, you will teach you how to fall. Right.
That's simple, right?
That's simple. We teach you how to fall and really using the breath to fall. I can, with the grace of the Guru and the guidance of the universe, I can promise you that, we in our collective consciousness, when 11 or more people sit together, and when they sit together and they breathe in the same way, and they move their tongue in the same way, and they move their postures of the body in the same way, the stars starts to align with them. And when the stars are aligned, destiny unfolds itself.
Mm.
So that is the whole teachings we will be doing, how to align with ourselves and as a group consciousness, the Sangha, and then how to invoke the stars to be aligned with us and open our destiny, which is to love everything around us, loving the trees, loving the environment, loving the earth, loving the skies, loving the clouds. Really, I'm emphasizing on this. We have not yet learned how to see the clouds.
Mm.
We have never seen the trees. Really, whenever we see a part of the mind is chattering, and because it is chattering, we never see anything in its completeness. When we are hearing something is chattering, we have never experienced anything in its completeness as far as hearing is concerned. So we have never seen anything. We only see half world. Part of it's outside, and part of it is what we brand it to be. So
Mm.
in these 2 hours, we will be diving deep into how to really fall down and start to see and start to hear, start to breathe, and start to walk. I will just want to share one more thing to this. We have never walked our on our feet.
Mm.
We only walk in our head. If you were to just see, when you're walking, you're not walking in your feet, you're walking in your head. How to really walk on the feet, that is what we will teach you.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is what we will
Ah,
teach you. Yeah.
and then a couple of weeks later, you've got something else going on. I think you're doing some chakra work. You've got a 2-day workshop happening as well.
Yeah, that is on the 22nd and the 23rd. Again, it's a Rasa Flow, yoga center,
Mm.
and 2 days of intensive chakras. Really understand what the chakras are and how chakras are not in the body. It starts with the breath, you know,
Mm.
and chakra is anything that moves in a circle, and the first circle, that gave you life was your breath. So connecting with the breath and then going down into the chakras, and then how to invoke the different chakras, and how to visualize different things in the chakras that helps to anchor the chakras. For example, if you have a lot of tension, a lot of stress and depression, chances are your navel center needs anchoring. And there's certain visualization, there's certain animals, certain colors, certain planets, that can be visualized in that specific point, and that helps to anchor the energies of that chakra. So it's a
Mm.
2 days intensive. We will also do practical, as well as understanding what chakras are. There are 33 trillion chakras in the body, and from these 33 trillion chakras, 21 are the main chakras. So 7 higher, and then 7 in the body, and then 7 below. So there are total 21 chakras in the body, and we will look and dive into very unique and very different chakra program. If you guys or whoever is listening, and if the universe calls, it will
Mhm.
be good. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's, I know my own experience again. Chakra work changed my world back in 2007. It was the first time I ever
Okay.
did a meditation. It was an ancient Indian meditation, a chakra dhyana, and
Uh-huh.
changed my life. Like it was a 40
Beautiful.
minutes that changed my life completely. So
Beautiful.
I certainly understand
Beautiful.
and respect the power of that work. And I thank you for bringing that to the people, because these are these ancient teachings and practices that I think it's all part of our God-given innate right to be able to practice these things so that we can live a life more peace, more harmony, more joy, more bliss. Now my question, and this is maybe another $1 million question here, um, if considering we're spirit having a human experience and we're brought into this world with all of these capabilities, what's the big cosmic joke that allows us to get stuck in our head for the majority of most people's lives? Why
You
made so difficult
repeat,
to attain that?
repeat your question. Repeat your question, please.
Well, why is it that we're here when we come to this planet and we come into this body, that we're disconnected from our spirit in that way that allows our mind to take over and our spirit to almost be non-existent?
I give you $1 million answer.
Woo! Just don't make me pay you for it, eh? Next time I see you, you'll be expecting a briefcase of cash.
The answer is so that you can ask me this question.
Ah, okay.
you know, yeah. So that actually what happened. This is called Leela.
Hmm.
This is called Leela. In the dream, something is lost. In the dream, we are dreaming,
Hmm.
and something is lost. And in the dream, we are finding everywhere, and we think we have lost the most valuable thing. And then, when the time is right, when the time is right, according to the Tibetan teachings of Tantrayana,
Hmm.
the teachings of Vajrayana, the path of the Buddha, the path of the Himalayas also. There are five things which, when come aligned, you wake up from the dream. And these five things are right time, right place, right teachings, right student, right teacher. When these five things are aligned, when the time and all these five things are right, suddenly you wake up and you realize nothing was lost. I was in my completeness and I was in rest. I was in complete rest. And this rest was giving me rejuvenation. Nothing is lost. We are we are actually not having a human experience, or the spirit is not having the human experience. The spirit is spirit and is just visualizing itself being a human. We are always complete. Are the such, Juga the such, have be such, which means you are complete in the beginning, you are complete now, and you will be complete in if ever there's a future. Now, because it is a dream, in the dream something have got lost, but in reality nothing is lost. And this is the joke. When you get up in the morning, however terrible the nightmare is, when you are up, there's a small smile on your face. Say, it was just a dream. So those who have known, they always laugh. And that's why we have the laughing Buddha. The laughing Buddha, he got up from the dream and he realized it was just a joke. And this is the joke. You are complete, yet you are finding your completeness. This is the joke.
Now, who's dreaming? If it's all a
Beautiful.
dream and it's not necessarily, whose dream is it?
Beautiful. You, me, all that was, all that is, and all that shall be in its totality is dreaming.
So we're all part of just one big cosmic dream.
Exactly. In the dream, one consciousness expands itself into buildings, into trees, into animals, into everything. But it is just one collective consciousness that is which is at rest. In the yogic teachings, there's this beautiful picture of Vishnu, Mahavishnu, who is lying down in the casual ocean under a thousand-hooded snake. If you go to the internet, you can get this beautiful picture. That is the representation of you and me and all that is in collective, consciousness. The snake there represents the collective potential power which is always available, and the consciousness in the form of Vishnu is lying down, and the ocean is the ocean of all pure possibilities that is possible. And collectively all this is happening, and Vishnu lying down under the thousand-hooded snake is dreaming. So we are the dream of God, if you want to put that way.
Beautiful. Now, what's the name of that image?
It's called Mahavishnu under sleeping under thousand-hooded snake. Just search that, Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
Sleeping under thousand-hooded snake.
I'm just looking at it right now because if I can add it to our to the comments, that'd be great.
Yes. Yeah. There's much more to that picture, but this is just in relation to what we are talking today.
Yes. Here we go. There's a few different ones. There's some great images of this here.
Yes.
I don't know which one I want to choose.
We choose. Whichever the consciousness wants to choose, it will choose.
I'm going to choose this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that because it puts things into perspective in a way that we can understand, and it's interesting. And what I think is always, lack of a better word again, interesting. When you were talking, you had me thinking about so many of these different, Hollywood movies and different things that kind of, some of their mystic in different movies really kind of represent that movement through time and space where
Right.
everything and anything is possible. It's almost like they're preparing us for what's going to come up in the world, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. I think I got this picture ready to throw in here. So but yeah, it's a great picture, great representation of that of what we're speaking about,
Right.
and I appreciate. Oh, oh, there's my phone.
Okay.
Um, I'll have to post it afterwards. It's not allowing me to select what I want to select here, but I will add it for those who are interested. It's a great image, and they can certainly take a look for it themselves. But it's certainly there. Um, wow, so that's a lot going on. I look forward to coming to one of your workshops. I'm pretty busy these days. I'm certainly busy on the 14th, so I won't make it for that one. Your 2-day one certainly sounds great, and we'll get that posted in the near future as well on our page. But I've put a link to your website, so for those who want to follow you, they can certainly take a look and see what you've got going on, where it's going on. They can reach out to you there and via Facebook and things. And I want to thank you for your time, Yogi Amandeep, because uh, I've always had since my experience in 2007, I've had just a love affair with ancient India and their teachings and their practices. And anytime I get to speak with, someone such as yourself and get these authentic teachings and just that transmission of your joy and your radiance as we speak, because you're just always so happy and warm, and I appreciate how you show up, and the simplicity of your teachings for
Thank
me
you.
is really profound. Just to sit, breathe, and be is one thing that keeps it super simple without overcomplicating it, because it makes it so everybody can do it.
Beautiful.
You know?
You know, you mentioned ancient India, and I just want to share this. Just came up in my mind. So we will be going to India this year in October, and every year we go, to the Himalayas. This year we're going to Mount Arunchala in the south.
Mm,
We will be spending 12 days in the ancient temples and caves and mountains, and this is the land where they still worship cows, and this is the land where they still worship monkeys, and
mm,
this is the land where they still worship the elephants, and this is the land where they still worship the trees, and this is the land where they still worship the sun, and this is the land where they still worship the moon. And I can continue and continue and continue. It is so mystical that in India, when the traffic light is red, nobody stops.
nah.
But if the cow sits on the road, everybody stops.
Isn't that something, right?
Yes, that's very mystical land. So if down the road, in October, late October,
Hmm.
if you have time, walk with me in this sacred land, and you can, stay in touch with me on yogiamandeepsingh.com, and yeah, also on Facebook, and yeah, we also have this coming up. It's called Ask a Yogi. It's on 15th of February for 1.5 hours, where we sit and you ask questions.
Oh, wow.
Just questions and questions and questions that you always wanted the answers for. And the stars get aligned and the stars start to speak with you and we
Mm.
get the answers. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you'll be doing more stuff throughout the year here in Vancouver and locally, I
Yeah.
imagine, for sure.
Yes, a lot of events are coming up. So, I'm sure, you will put that website up and on that
Yeah,
event page,
yeah,
all
we've
the
got some stuff going there, and what I'd like to do is invite you to come and do an event with us and share some of your teachings in our
Yes,
home and to our community, and we'll
yes.
do something a little more direct that way. Would be fun.
Let's stay in touch. Let's
That's
stay in touch and let me know. And I would love to come and be part of the community.
absolutely. Well, hey, I'm happy to talk to you anytime and share your teachings and your work with our community and the World Wide Web. Anybody out there, you just never know who's watching these things at any given time. So we're
Yes.
grateful for that. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Always a pleasure. With great honor and respect. I thank you very much for your work and presence in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. May the universe bless all of us here health, wealth, and prosperity, and the highest gift, and that is how to sit.
Yes,
Sat
and breathe and breathe.
and breathe.
Yeah. Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Yogi Amandeep. We'll see you again.
Thank
You take
you. Bye.
care. Bye, everyone.